Entering week 4, the Big Sky has 5 teams in the Stats Perform FCS Top 25, the second most of any conference. Plus, they have 2 additional teams receiving votes. Welcome to This Week in Big Sky Football.
3, 2, 1, go!
Hello and welcome to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. First-year head coach of Northern Arizona, Wright, got his first D1 win as his Lumberjacks improved to 2-1 this season. It is their best start since 2019. The Lumberjacks head down to San Antonio this weekend to take on 15th-ranked University of Incarnate Word in our game of the week. Coach Wright is with me now to discuss his team's hot start. Coach, appreciate you being here. You are 3 games into your tenure as head coach of Northern Arizona. The Lumberjacks are off to their best start since 2019. How would you assess the season so far?
Well, certainly, our program has come a long ways here since really we began in spring ball and through the preseason camp and into 3 games. So happy with our attitude, our effort, how we've come together as a football team. Certainly a long way to go. The schedule gets a lot tougher here as we move forward. So certainly the test is yet ahead of us.
You mentioned the test ahead of you. I don't want to look too far back in the past. However, week 2, you put up a fight against the 20th ranked team in the FBS, Arizona. What did you learn about your guys in that game?
Yeah, that we just had a lot of grit, that we were willing to play together as a team. We were willing to handle the adversities that come along throughout the course of a game. And that was something we challenged our team all week. We weren't handling some of the adversities necessarily well. And we said it was time to define our team. And I think our guys stepped up in that defining moment. Certainly disappointed about the outcome of that game. Thought we would put ourselves in even a better position at the end to give us even a better opportunity.
Your quarterback, Ty Pennington, came with you from Pittsburgh State this offseason. He earned Offensive Player of the Week honors for his performance last weekend. How have you seen him grow as a player in the last year from Pitt State to Flagstaff?
Really 2 main ways. Just, he's gotten better on the field, of course, just getting more reps. He's experienced in the offense. He's been a part of this system now for 3 years. So he's really grown there, understanding what we're trying to do. And then probably his biggest improvement has been in leadership. Just, I think, confidence in what he's doing, confidence in his leadership skills, and really trying to bring our group together.
Looking ahead to this week, your matchup with 15th ranked Incarnate Word. They had 366 passing yards last week in their loss to Southern Illinois. How do you slow down their passing attack?
And that certainly is the challenge. They have a good offensive line, gives their quarterback time. The quarterback is a really special player, gets the ball out of his hands. He has a really strong arm. And then he has those weapons, they get the ball out quick. They get him in some space, and then those guys can really go once they have it. So we have to do a good job of applying pressure where we can. And then we've got to really do a good job in our man-to-man and our zone schemes defensively to really work to contain the receivers.
Defensively, they had 3 different players with double-digit tackles last week. What's the key for your offense to get yards after contact?
They're very physical on defense. We have to be very physical as well. We got to take care of the football. And we got to, we call it running to touchdown alley. We got to get our people on offense that do not have the ball in their hands getting downfield and trying to get that extra block towards the end zone.
What statement would a win this week over a top 25 team make for NAU?
Well, I think it would be a big statement. Obviously, we're not in the top 25. We would like to get there. We would like to win conference championships and get into the playoffs just like Incarnate Word has. So I think when you have the opportunity to go to their place and play them, A win there would be a big statement for us. And we don't look any further than that. We just focus on this team and this opponent. I think, again, it would build confidence in our group that their work is paying off.
Ahead, how has Brian Wright changed the culture at NAU? Voice of the Lumberjacks, Mitch Strohman, weighs in next.
We never set out to be the largest casino resort in the Pacific Northwest. We just wanted to be the best. But we forgot that being the best means more guests wanting more action, more jackpots, more big-name entertainment, more pedicures. Well, more everything. Until one day, you look up and realize, we need a new hotel tower. The new River Tower, to be exact. Northern Quest in Spokane, Washington. Now the largest. And yes, still the best.
Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm Megan Robinson. With me now is the general manager of NAU TV and the voice of the Lumberjacks, Mitch Strohman. What's your overall perception of the Lumberjacks early into 2024?
There is a big buzz. There's something different in the air here at 7,000 feet above sea level with NAU football. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the head coach and his staff, Brian Wright. He came in with a whole new staff. There was a huge turnover on the roster. This is the transfer portal era, after all. 65 new players. First 3 games of the season, we're off to a 2-1 start. You know, we went into the season, Megan, and the expectations were very low. Nobody really, except for folks around these parts, had any expectations of NAU being a team that could potentially be in the playoff hunt. And here we are after week 3, and everyone's going, what's going on up there in Flagstaff?
How does the energy in the locker room feel different under Coach Wright?
With Brian Wright, he is, and his staff have changed the culture in the locker room and on the field in terms of how they conduct themselves in practice, how they handle themselves on the road. The program feels different.
65 new guys in that locker room. One of those, of course, is quarterback Ty Pennington, who came with Coach Wright from Pitt State in this offseason. How would you describe the relationship between coach and quarterback?
Yeah, those two know each other, and that's a big advantage, Megan. That really is, you know, especially when your head coach, like Brian Wright is not just your head coach, but he is also the offensive coordinator. He is also the quarterback's coach. So Brian Wright has 3 roles on the staff, right? So you have to have a very close understanding, relationship, trust. The T word is key. There is a trust relationship between Pennington and his head coach and offensive coordinator, Brian Wright.
Pennington's performance against Utah Tech did earn him Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week honors. 3 games, 0 interceptions. He is only a sophomore. That was only his 3rd career start. How much upside does Pennington have going forward?
I think he has a ton of upside, Megan. The young man can flat out throw the football, and he's tough. He could take a hit. You often wonder, Division II players moving up to the Division I level, you know, is the skill set there? And the answer in this case is absolutely it is. There's no question. Now we're going to get a really good feel for Ty Pennington's abilities and how big that upside really is, Megan, because now we're playing teams that are from our world, which is the FCS.
As we mentioned, Northern Arizona is heading to San Antonio this weekend to face 15th ranked University of Incarnate Word. What will it take for the Lumberjacks to walk away with a win?
It's going to take a really good effort on the defense. They got to contain the quarterback. Don't let him get out of the pocket and damage you with his legs. But at the same time, be able to cover downfield. And they've got some really good pass catchers. They throw the ball a lot, and they throw it well. And they put up a lot of yards and a lot of points with their air game. Can we manage that air game defensively? I think is going to be a key for NAU in San Antonio on Saturday.
After the break, Big Sky Commissioner Tom Wistrcill joins the show from our nation's capital with an update on the landscape of college athletics.
Yeah, definitely. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. See you next week.
Bye.
All right, thanks. All right, take care. Bye, everyone.
Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. With me now from our nation's capital is Big Sky Commissioner Tom Wistrcill. Tom, you are in DC because the Big Sky was recently named one of 3 conferences recognized for committing to the Meet the Knights Commission CARE model principles. What is the CARE model?
So the Knight Commission been heavily involved in college athletics for a long time, and is really concerned about equity, transparency around college athletics and student athlete welfare. What we were awarded was money for the way we handle our finances, making sure they're balanced between men's athletics and women's athletics, make sure we're supporting all those programs correctly. And so we're one of 3 conferences right now that have committed to share that revenue equally. Women's basketball will be awarded units like men's basketball for the first time coming up here in this next school year. And we want to make sure that we recognize our women's athletes financially the same way we do our men's teams.
Why is this a significant accomplishment for the Big Sky Conference?
Well, I think it goes back to our values. And so, it basically accentuates what we do well, which is support all of our student athletes, all of our programs. So, we love our hashtag experience elevated, and we think this is another way to elevate our experience in the Big Sky. So it's always significant on a national stage to get recognized for a conference like the Big Sky, to be out here on the East Coast and have people look out west and say, wow, they're doing really good things in the Big Sky Conference.
Again, you are in Washington, D.C. to accept the Knight Commission CARE grant. However, while there, you've also met with members of Congress. What was the purpose of those meetings?
Been great discussions. We've been talking about name, image, and likeness. Been talking about employment status for student athletes. We've talked about the House settlement. They all care deeply about what's going on. And I've been really impressed with their level of knowledge of the topics. That tells me that our presidents have been talking to them as well, and their concern for the student athletes. And we're pushing hard to make sure that student athletes don't become employees. Every student athlete I talk to has said they don't want to be an employee of the school, and so we need to continue to have these discussions here on Capitol Hill with our congressional leaders to ensure that doesn't happen.
What is the latest update regarding the House settlement?
On Thursday, the 26th, there will be another hearing in front of Judge Wilkin. Hopefully she accepts the settlement. Both parties want the settlement, both the plaintiffs and the defendants. So we're hopefully can find some middle ground. We've got a 10-year runway that will guarantee without some of this litigation, where we can work together across all size and scope of Division I to try to chart a course that's good for the biggest schools that are bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars, and certainly those that aren't in our conference and others.
How does the Big Sky plan to adapt to the House settlement if and when it does become official?
So, we spend a lot of time on discussing what it means for our schools. There's revenue that we're going to lose as a conference, as well as on around our schools, and so we have to plan for that. We also have to think in terms of, if we have to opt into this or not, accept what the settlement is going to provide from a revenue standpoint, sharing some with student athletes, having other student athlete rights. And we're all about trying to help out from an NIL standpoint and all in on that. But we want to make sure that we don't trigger anything that makes them employees.
Will Leota caught the nation's attention with his 10-tackle performance on Saturday. Hear from him next. Welcome back to This Week in Big Sky Football. I'm your host, Megan Robinson. Here's a look at what's happening in Olympic sports. After beating Colorado State earlier this month, UNC took down Colorado, Air Force, and Denver to complete their Centennial State sweep. Maddie Davies hit .400 with 48 kills in 3 matches over the weekend, and she was named Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week. Idaho State is also on a hot streak. They were a perfect 3-0 this weekend at the Boise State Classic, defeating CSU Bakersfield, Gonzaga, and Boise State. Sticking with the Bengals, freshman Millie Day won the Bedford Cup, finishing the Delta Flight singles draw with the championship. Day dropped only 2 games in her final match. In soccer, Eastern Washington's Chloe Pattison extended her scoring streak with back-to-back multi-goal games over the weekend, earning Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week honors for the second consecutive week. And NAU debuted their new alternate identity, the Astrojacks, complete with space-themed uniforms and Louie the Lumberjack's cosmic companion, Bluey the Space Ox. More on that next week.
Here's McQuaid, fakes the out, looks for the up. It's not there, and the Hornet defense will swallow him up again for another sack.
10 tackles, including 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks, earned Will Leota Big Sky Defensive Player of the Week honors, plus Stats Perform National Defensive Player of the Week honors. He's with me here now. Will, what does that recognition mean to you?
It means a lot. It's just a reflection of how much the training's paid off within the team and the coach's scheme. And to all my brothers out there on the field doing their job in order for me to make plays like that.
Why do you think you were so successful at getting after the quarterback on Saturday?
I think the main reason is everyone doing their jobs individually, so it opens up one-on-ones so I can get to the quarterback faster and just a team collective job for real.
You mentioned your brothers out there on the field, and the Hornets defense did not allow an offensive touchdown in your win on Saturday. How hard is that to accomplish in a football game?
I would say it's pretty hard, especially with the teams that we verse and how good the offenses that we go against week by week. I think it's a pretty hard goal to reach, and I think we did a great job at that.
Sac State's defense is in the top 10 in the FCS in sacks. How does it feel to know that?
It feels good. It's actually crazy, shocking news. I didn't know that till this call, and that's really good. I'm going to tell my boys that we got to keep that up, keep going.
How do you keep that up and stay consistent?
I think that being consistent starts in practice for us. I think we got to, keep the gas going and not let up, especially with our schedule and how it looks going on. It's only going to get harder, so we just got to keep going, keep training hard.
You started your college football career at Utah Tech. This is your first season in the Big Sky with Sacramento State, already getting national honors as a defensive player. What message does that send to the rest of the conference as we approach the start of conference play?
The message, I think, is that we could play too. We have guys that can do the same things that I've been doing, and it's just going to come out later on in the season as we go.
Still to come, Mitch Strohman is back with his game picks. Back with me now is Mitch Strohman, General Manager of NAU TV and the voice of the Lumberjacks. Mitch, let's pick some Big Sky football games this weekend, starting with 4th-ranked Idaho. They head down to 19th-ranked Abilene Christian. Who do you like in that matchup?
This is a really intriguing matchup. Idaho, the Vandals are really stingy. They're downright miserly when it comes to allowing points to be scored in Moscow, Idaho. I mean, they're allowing 17 points per game going into this one against Abilene Christian. They have given up a little bit in terms of passing yards. It's about 260 or so per game. And, that's an interesting issue when it comes to playing Abilene Christian University, is they sling it. They average about 480 or so yards per game passing. There's an interesting conflict there that's going to be really fun to watch. Intellectually honest with this one, I'm probably going to have to give the slight edge to Abilene Christian on this one and pick them to win the game. Darn it, over the Vandals in the Big Sky Conference. But man, I hope I am dead wrong on that one.
Both Western Carolina and Montana looking for back-to-back wins. Western Carolina heading up to Missoula this week. Montana's ground game dominated their win last week, totaling 410 yards in their 59-2 victory over Morehead State. Who do you like?
So where's this game being played?
in Missoula.
Exactly. Um, Full stop right there. It's in Missoula, Washington Grizzly Stadium. That is a place where non-conference teams from, say, east of the Rockies or the Mississippi River, even, they go to die. No slight against Western Carolina, but I'm sorry. It's Wa Grizz. It's Missoula. It's no chance to me.
Finally, our game of the week, NAU heading down to San Antonio, taking on 15th ranked University of Incarnate Word. NAU off to their best start since 2019, while Incarnate Word is hoping to avoid a 3-game losing streak. Who do you like in this one?
I'm going with NAU. And this is my heart and soul in this one. This is a chance to go up against an FCS team that is ranked, an FCS team that has made the playoffs, but now they've had a taste of playing good football these last 3 weeks. And I think this team is going to go down there and surprise everybody. And I'm picking the NAU Lumberjacks all the way on this one, Megan.
Oh, Mitch, thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing you on the call this weekend, and I wish you safe travels down to San Antonio. We will see soon enough if NAU can prove Mitch right and get that win over Incarnate Word. Thank you so much for watching another episode of This Week in Big Sky Football. Once again, I'm your host, Megan Robinson. I'll see you guys here next week. For all the latest Big Sky content, subscribe to our YouTube channel.